You having a stressful day and need a few laughs? Well, you come to the right place. Myself, Lyric, and Jimmy Jam are fathers formerly in the music industry who have a lot to say. So sit back, sip your cup of coffee, and welcome to the shenanigans.
In 5.
Welcome to the
4,
Coffee Break Podcast.
3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 14 of the Coffee Break Podcast with your favorite host in the world, Lyric, and my brother
From another mother, Jimmy Jam.
Salud, everybody. Salud.
Good coffee.
Great coffee today. Well, on the ride in today, ladies and gentlemen, me and Jimmy kind of pretty much shit ourselves. Sorry for the language, but there's no other way to put it. Driving down here on the highway and whoosh, lightning took over.
Just a bright flash that took over the whole sky.
Thor must have been fighting because it lit up the whole sky like it was daytime.
And we literally cursed at the same time, said the same thing. And
Kind of scared the crap out of us.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, it's been one fun weekend. I tell you what.
It is.
I bought a shed, went to put it together. Mind you, I go to the facility to go get this.
Okay.
Nobody was there to help me. So I had to wrestle this 400 pound thing onto a cart. But people are watching me do it. Mind you, there was an old lady, and I told my wife about it. There was an old lady checking me out when I was throwing it on her. She was like this. And her old husband was next to her. But I get it on this thing, and I finally get it to the front, and I pay for it. And then I had to get in the back of the truck. So I tip it up, and I tip it over, it falls in, and I'm struggling to get it up. And nobody. People are walking in and out. Everybody's looking at me.
You gotta love customer service.
And I pick it up, and I finally get in there, and Tara's like, well, I can hold it if you can pull it in. So I jump in, and I pull it the whole way in. So my tiny little wife was able to hold this thing up while it was 90% in the bed. I just had to get it over the real well. But big grown men walking by.
Nobody helped.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, I had a similar situation as far as customer service goes. I went to a local facility to get my car washed. Christy's birthday is actually Wednesday.
Mm.
So, the birth fest starts early at our house and lasts for a little bit. So we have to begin a celebration. So we were having some friends over, and I wanted to clean the car out because we were going to go out for a little bit. So I took the car to get cleaned and detailed. Not a full detail, just, vacuum the inside and
the basics.
The basics,
yeah.
Wipe it down, do that stuff. So I go through the car wash part. Everything looked great. I get out. They go to do all the interior stuff, and they ask me what kind of scent would I like and this and that. And 15, 20 minutes go by, and my car comes out. And this kid's wiping it down. He goes, "Sir, I think your car's ready. Would you like to look at it?" I said, "That's my car, but it's not ready." He's like, "What are you saying?" I was like, "Well, you did a crappy job." I said, "That's what I'm saying." I said, "It wasn't vacuumed. There's still bug doo-doo on the windows."
Bug doo-doo.
I said, "You didn't wipe anything down. I can see the dust." I said, "There's fingerprints on the console." I said, "Nothing was wiped down, vacuumed, or anything." I said, "What'd you do for the last 20 minutes? He goes, "Well, you haven't really given us time to complete this." I said, "Wait a minute. You just said it was ready." So he goes, "Well, what would you like me to do?" I said, "Clean my car." He goes, I said, "But you know what?" I said, "At this point, just go get your manager." So this...
How old was the kid?
The kid cleaning my car was older than the manager that came out. Looked like he just walked out of third grade. I swear, I thought it was Christy's son Bennett because they were the same age. So this young kid comes out and he goes, "Sir, how can I help you?" I said, "I'm really not happy with the way my car appears." He said, "Okay, what would you like us to do?" And I said, "Well, I wanted you to clean it." I said, "Obviously that task isn't going to happen. So I would like a refund." "Well, sir, have you thought about giving us a chance to make it right?" I said, "No, no. I said, it's already, look, we're like,
You had your chance.
yeah, we're like 25 minutes into this process now. I don't think you need to do it over again. He said, well, what would you like me to do? I said, give me my money back. So he proceeds to jabber on, and finally I just said, look, I'm never coming back here, so that's a moot point. Just give me my money. So he proceeds to waddle back into the office, and he comes out.
Was he sipping his juice box?
Yeah. Had his little backpack on. But he comes out, and he did give me a full refund. But this guy was starting to wipe down my car on the outside. He goes, oh, stop doing that. We're refunding his money. So I was like, okay, we're going to play this game. So then this other older manager comes walking past. He goes, how's your day, sir? I said, it's not going great. I said, I'm waiting for my refund. He goes, all right, well, you have a good day now. I was like, alrighty.
He's probably like, I know this is a shithole. I'm going this way.
I'm like, man, I feel like I'm watching that, what was that cartoon with Rudolph, the Land of the Misfits? I was like, that's where I'm at.
I bet you can get a better cleaning from the guy at the stop sign that asks for $1 just to clean your windshield. At least the bug juice will be off.
I was floored that it came out that way, and whatever. I called Christy right away. She's like, well, did you get a refund? And I was like, of course I did. And she goes, so I got home, and she comes out and she looks at it. She goes, they didn't do anything. I was like, that's my point. It's like, they didn't do anything. I was like, I was amazed that I don't know what they did for 25 minutes or 20 minutes, but they sure as heck didn't clean my car.
It was waterless cleaning, ladies and gentlemen. So, you want to know what's hard about putting a shed together?
Yeah, I do, because I saw that you have it 3/4 completed.
Yeah. Well, I get the thing home. I get it to its location. Open it up. All right, well, this is a piece here. This is a piece here. Here's the screws. Start laying out the screws by their size and getting everything organized. Where's the instructions?
There were no instructions.
No instructions in this big top-of-the-line name brand shed that I bought. Now, it's a resin shed. It's a fiberglass plastic shed. And I'm like, where's the instructions?
Still, you need to know what screws go what size and everything.
And I'm just like, I just spent a good bit of money for this shed, and I can't even get instructions in French, let alone English or just print it in words. So luckily,
what'd you do?
Being the nerd that I am, I went to the interwebs, and I was able to look on my phone and start piecing this thing together. So, I got it Saturday. This is Sunday, and I just need to put the roof on.
Yeah, I did see. It looks great, except like you said, the roof's not on. And you should have called me. I would have come over and helped.
Well, I figured you and my wife can lift about the same, so. But yeah, it's great,
my brother. Touche.
I mean, it's a temporary shed till we move, and we'll make a decision whether we're going to leave that shed there or take it with us, because it's easily.
You can take
I
it
can
apart.
take it down easily.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's a great piece of equipment. Like it's well put together. But it would have been great to have the instructions. I'm here looking at my phone, trying to read these little tiny words, and I keep scrolling in, and it looks like they scanned the worst copy ever. Instead of having a digital version, they just scanned the version and just looked horrible.
See, now that was quick thinking on your behalf. Me, I would have probably spent the next half hour cursing before Christy came out and said, why don't you Google it? Which, or YouTube it, she would have told me. But no, I would... dumb me, I would have spent like a half hour wasting my time cursing and kicking the thing and getting all mad, which doesn't need to happen. So
no, I would have got my Tim Allen on and but I have no neighbor to look over the eyes with and ask how to really do it the right way.
Well, that's good for you. I mean, it's a nice shed. It really is.
I think it's going to turn into my doghouse when I take the wife off.
Somewhere to go, right?
Yeah, so I might as well just put a little heater in there and I have electric in it, so that's a good thing about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sits like my electric box sits right here, so it has a part where you can run an extension cord through and close it, so the water doesn't seep through. So I have electric, so I'm having a little heater out there.
Yeah, you could just sit out there, put
my
TV.
laptop out there and watch movies and text to you, hey, I'm in the shed. It's gonna be Club Antonio.
Well, we're gonna take it up a notch next week. You want to tell them, or you just want to show them?
Thanks to our significant others, we are allowed to upgrade.
And we're not talking about the golf cart.
No.
Just to be clear, this has nothing to do with camping.
No. We are officially upgrading our studio equipment to make sure we give you guys proper content, make sure we keep you guys entertained. We got to make sure we stay with the times and upgrading. So we have a nice little machine that we just bought. We'll be able to record better quality sounds, add a few more sound effects while we're recording live, and we're excited about it.
I'm very excited. Anything to help my voice sound better. I wish it did something for this face, but for now we'll just go with the sound. The thing is, I want to thank everybody that's really listening and spreading the word. We have so many great people giving us feedback.
Interaction is great.
And it's just helping us. This is a non-profit type thing. We really don't make anything doing this other than the enjoyment that we have from it and letting you guys take a 30-40 minute coffee break and enjoy it. So that's what we get out of it. And if we can increase it and make it better, keep spreading the word. And thank you all so much for doing what you've done. I know we have some great supporters out there. They've reached out to us and said they want us to, review their business. There's been listeners that are, have reached out to us and asked us about getting mugs and shirts and everything. So
we have a few businesses coming up that we'll be reviewing.
Yeah.
I believe we have a youth program that we're going to be reaching out. A youth
reach out program. Yeah.
A ear lowering facility for you younger kids. That's a haircut.
Yes.
So we thank you.
Yes, thank you all for your support, for listening, and just sitting down with us and having a cup of coffee. Makes it better.
Now I feel bad that we're going to talk about something a little more serious after such nice words.
I know, but that's what everyone expects from us. The goofiness and the seriousness.
Well, you have such beautiful words.
I don't know.
Well, let's bring up the COVID shot then.
Yeah. It's a hot topic.
It is hot topic, whether you're pro-shot, anti-shot, whether you think this is shenanigans or if it's something that you should take serious. They are now most locations. I have a good friend of mine who's getting married. In order for him to take his cruise, he has to prove that he had his shot.
Yes.
My wife and I were looking into taking a cruise, and we would have to have proof that we had a shot. Whether you have the card that they give you, or now I'm hearing that it's a part of the passport now.
Well, no, they're looking to create a vaccination passport. And some states have already rejected, I believe 3 states have rejected the idea. Basically, just much like a passport that gets you into other countries, this will be a vaccination passport that will get you into venues, concerts, airline facilities, traveling state to state. Some jobs are looking for it. I don't think they can do that, but
I feel like we're going to be dogs with the vaccination thing on our chain sooner or later.
Depends on what conspiracy theorists you listen to. And I'm not saying they're wrong, because there's a lot of the ones that I listen to. And this is not a political statement on our behalf or anything, whether we're getting the shot or not getting the shot. That's up to us. I'm not afraid to tell anybody what I will be doing. I plan on getting the shot just because my parents are older and it's, I had COVID. It's not fun to deal with. It's like, and if I can lessen the symptoms, not everybody gets the flu shot. So this isn't for everybody. The flu shot you can still get the flu with the flu shot. It just lessens the symptoms. And I think that's, for me, the way I'm looking at this shot. if I do get COVID and I've had the shot, maybe it'll lessen the symptoms. But then there's that part of me that says, we don't really know a lot about this.
Yeah. I mean, I've been on the fence for a while. I have a lot of people that rely on me, little babies to my grandfather.
Yeah.
I got to make sure I'm healthy enough to be around them. So at this point, I'm looking at it. It's not what my opinion is. It's what's better for the people
around
I deem close to me. So it's just whether you're taking a shot is different to what these people are trying to mandate.
Yeah.
Now, is that
I think there's too many mandates being put forth so far on this that it's, I know there's a lot of people that are getting the shot. There's a lot of people that aren't getting the shot. Whether you're on the fence or not on the fence, that's your choice. It's your body. It's your choice. It's your opinion. And you're entitled to every bit of that. I just don't think you should have to have a proof. Like, I know it's okay to have a card, and everyone's showing them on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram. Everyone's showing that they got their cards. But to have a passport to get into a venue, a restaurant, a concert, I don't know. I mean,
I can almost see if you're leaving the country.
Yeah.
Yes. If you're going on a cruise or on an airline, I can see that because you need a passport.
You need a passport to travel. Yes.
So if it's something that's included in your passport,
that's fine.
It's fine. But if I want to go see a concert, I shouldn't have to, make sure I bring my ID and my passport. Then what are you going to do with it? Stick it in your pocket the rest of the night?
And the thing is, there's scammers now that they're saying that are creating these false passports and selling them for up to $600. So, it's like, how do you know what's authentic? You can get fake IDs. They've had them for years. You can get fake passports. They've had that for years. They can, they can make fake vaccination passports. And who's to say that I have one? Was I vaccinated? Was I not vaccinated? What's the proof in the pudding? A passport to me shows your picture, your name, your date of birth, all the stuff that's relevant to doing anything that they like a driver's license.
Yep.
It just gives you international travel. I don't know if I agree with this.
It's a very.
It's not about getting the shot.
No.
That this is beyond getting the shot.
It's more of the privacy thing.
Yeah, it's about tracking me.
Yeah.
And knowing every move and what I'm doing. It's almost like all these shows that you saw in the future about people being microchipped and this and that, maybe I'm a little conspiracy theorist myself.
Look, I already have a wife. I don't need anybody else tracking me.
But let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, it's a thin line, but it's a good debate on thing, and to see where people's ideas are at with this.
And we're not looking to see if you're getting the shot or not getting the shot. We talked about that on one of the first podcasts that we did when this started. 14 podcasts we've done.
Yeah.
14. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, wait till we get to 100.
I know. I can't wait. But again, we're not looking to know if you are going to get the shot, not get the shot, if you received it already, if you're totally against it. That's, like I said, your body, your choice, your opinion. What we want to know is what you think about the passport and having a document that you had the shot.
It's hard to keep my daughter's shots and vaccination paper under control.
I know.
And that we got to give to the school.
Yeah, that's the other flip side to this coin is, for years as a child, you have to show that you were inoculated, but not every child was inoculated. It wasn't required. There are parents that have foregone giving their children their vaccinations. Isn't
there certain religions that don't believe in vaccination?
I believe there are.
Yeah. Jehovah's Witnesses don't vaccinate.
So why is it required to do, you can't make something required. I don't think, I think it's jamming, it's too political, and it's jamming control down people's throats. And we're a democracy. That's what this was founded on. The right to choose, the right to that's the key word there, to have the right to decide. And I think that's where this needs to stay, and the government needs to stay out of it, and they can't control our bodies.
It's my body. I do what I want. Go ahead, Shanae. So, I got a question for you.
Okay.
In your 21 some years of being in existence, we have things in our life that, all right, by the time I hit the grave,
yeah,
I want to do A, B, C, and D, and E, and F. Do you have 3 things on your bucket list that you would love to accomplish before you?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things I want to do, but to narrow it down to 3, wow. I want to grow old with Christy. And I think that's has my bucket list changed over the year, even the last year, with everything that's happened in life. I think I've chosen a different route on my bucket list. It used to be to have this, to have that, and it became materialistic. My bucket list was very materialistic, to travel here, to travel there. And then, life is very fragile, and I think that's made me change my opinion on what my bucket list is. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to grow old with Christy. I want to, have a life with her for a long, long time. I want to see our children happy in their own lives and raising their own family, if that's what they choose to do, or be successful in life. And 3, to get a bigger golf cart. I couldn't be too serious.
He's going to be the first person with a double-decker golf bus.
No, I think 3.
You going to put some hydraulics on that thing? Ice cube it?
3 would be to get some kind of college education. I've never went to college. I've toyed with it for years. I would like to, whether it does anything for me in life, it's just to say that I did it. It would be to have a degree. And when the time is right in my life and I'm able to dedicate that much time to it, then I'm going to do it. I see my son, and he's doing it. He's going through college. He's going to be 21, and he is actually contacted some friends of mine, reached out to me and said, "Hey Dad, I want to DJ. I want to be like you. I want to do what you did for years." And I was like, wow,
that's good.
I was like, "Are you sure that's what you want to do?" And he's like, "Yes."
So you're going to pass off the Mauler Mingler?
No. I want him, that's the one thing I told him. I said, choose your own path. I said, the way I DJ is totally different than the way another person DJs. And I want to say a very special thank you to my buddy DJ Edge. He's working with my son, talking to my son, giving my son advice, and what better of a role model to have than someone like Edge.
You ain't getting away from this podcast, Edge.
You're going to be on it yet.
Watch.
You're going to be on it yet. But no, all kidding aside, I want to thank him for taking the time out of his life, which is very busy. He's always on the go. He's always booked. It's sometimes two events a day.
Trust me, I know. I do all his graphics.
So I mean, he's very busy, but
great guy.
But how lucky is my son to have someone like him to look up to?
And in the era of popular DJing with more effects than anything else, to be a authentic mixing,
turntablist,
turntablist,
and to have that,
and there's not many of them left, and it's
a dying art.
We have 2 great DJs like that in this city, between him and Image.
Yeah,
Image is his own.
He's his own beast.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met Edge. We DJ'd. I've seen him and I've interacted with him, but the first time we actually did something together was I opened up for Little C's at the Count Snooker Bar.
Okay.
and he was DJing,
Uh-huh.
and he was a lot skinnier. His hair was not gray. I was a couple pounds lighter, and we tore that bad boy down. I hosted and I performed, and he DJ'd, and we were right in sync the whole night together. I can look at him and knew he was about to mix and scratch, and then I would tune in and get everybody moving, and then Little C's did this thing, and at the end of the night I made sure his equipment was brought up properly, and ever since then we became friends. And
he has a talent like no one else, and I tell him this all the time. I just respect him for the man that he is, and for the entertainer that he has developed and become. He's chosen his own path. He doesn't follow anyone else. He runs his own race, and I commend him for that.
you know, Edge, you have a secret that nobody knows, and I know. I don't know if you know.
I don't know.
You know, Edge is a secret comic head.
Is he really?
He's an undercover comic head, and not many people know. We've had discussions on comic books, and I remember calling him to tell him there's a huge exhibit in Philly, and he ended up taking his kids down there. He goes, it was the best time of their life. I didn't get to go, and I was kind of upset, but when he went, I was like, all right. He went, and he told me how great it was. So I was like, all right. So I kind of felt like I actually went. But he's an undercover comic head. Don't let him get you.
Did not know that.
Don't let him fool you. He's an undercover comic head.
So let's talk about your top 3 on your bucket list.
I want to take my daughters to see where their Puerto Rican side of their family comes from and the Irish side of the family comes from. So going back to Puerto Rico and going to Ireland are 2 big things on my bucket list.
It's very admirable.
I've been to PR, and my grandfather built a house so for us grandchildren to go down to PR.
Yep.
When he passed away and my grandmother was getting very ill before she passed away, they ended up having to sell the house.
Okay.
So it felt like a little bit of that world was taken away when that house had to be sold. I knew they couldn't handle it, and I knew the reasons that they sold it. But it still felt like a little PR was taken away from us. So I want to make sure my kids know this is where this side of your family comes from. This is the island that we came in. We are Taino Indians. This is where we come from.
Okay.
And Tara's never been to Puerto Rico, so that would be beautiful for her.
Mm-hmm.
Then, obviously, I've never been to Ireland.
No.
I've never been outside of the States besides Puerto Rico. And to go visit where Tara's lineage comes from.
That's a great idea to do.
I think those are 2 big ones. And the third one is I would like, even though I am scared of it, I would like to break my own fear by camping in the woods. Not glamping, camping.
It's fun.
My wife loves camping. That's what she did growing up. I've never camped.
Really?
I've never camped. And I've always been afraid of camping because I know nothing of the world. I don't know the first thing except what's on Naked and Afraid.
Yeah. Christy's big into camping. She loves it. My idea of camping, of course, as you know, is the Holiday Inn.
And the golf cart.
And the golf cart. But no, I've gone camping, and it's a lot of fun. It's, you just got to find the right campground, even if you don't go to a campground and you decide to just find a wooded area and have fun. I mean, I think it's great. Growing up, we did it with my family. My dad and mom, always when they took us away, we used to go camping, and then we got a pop-up camper.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was like growing up, that was a nice little bonding time with my parents and my brother. We had this one time we went camping, and my mom got this tent from Service Merchandise, Green Stamps.
Wow.
And she got all this camping gear through S&H Green Stamps.
I remember Service Merchandise.
And what happened was we were inside the tent, my brother and I, we were young, and we were inside touching the inside of the tent all over the place. Didn't know you're not supposed to do that. So don't touch the inside of the tent, because what happened was it poured down rain that night. And when we woke up, I thought for sure my brother peed the bed because everything was soaking wet. Sleeping bags. I mean, we were on a little air mattress, but our sleeping bags were soaked. The clothes were soaked. Everything was wet. Here, when you touch the inside of a tent, on those tents, the older tents, it like would leak then. I don't know if
oils in your hand, probably.
I don't know. I've never, like I said, I don't do a lot of camping. We used to do it when I was a kid, but that's what I was told. I could have been fibbed too, and so we never touched the inside of the tent again.
Why did nobody ever call it the service merchandise? They always, I'm going to the merchandise. They would never say service merchandise.
Yeah, I don't know. But my mom used to get all kinds of stuff from there for us to go camping.
My uncle used to go there all the time, right in front of where AC Moore's is, right?
Well, there used to be over on Manheim Pike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they were.
Right where Menchie Music is.
Now, look, I remember when Lowe's used to be James Ways.
Yeah. They used to have a little, not a bowling alley, but the duck pins.
Duck pins, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Going back in the day.
I feel old.
Speaking of old, let's talk about basketball.
Oh, yes. The comment that we got on one of our social media pages. I'm sorry, I forget who actually asked, who said it. But they mentioned we talked about football, that they wanted to know a little about basketball and who we thought should be in our top 10.
But I am not a huge basketball person. I will admit that flat out. Just not up to date on it. He is. I'm not. So to make a comment, I can. I did some research. I thought about it. And I have my picks. But I wanted to kind of give you... I did some research and found out what other people have thought to be the top 10.
Okay.
And then I want to hear your top 10. So this is kind of like a self-interview on you for once.
Okay.
Since you know a lot more about it than I do. So I thought, for me to comment on it would not be the right thing to do because I just don't know enough and I would look like and sound like a fool. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay. So let's go with the fact that basketball, the NBA has been around since 1946.
Wow.
So there's a lot of players in that time.
When they used to play with the crazy thing is I remember this, they used to play with a peach bottom basket. Really? At the bottom, they would have somebody on a ladder next to the net that would have to scoop out the ball and give it to the other team.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how I know this. It took them a couple years to figure out we could just go snip, 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 and it would just come out. I know this. It was a thing in school, and I remember it. I remember watching the black and white grainy footage of the guys scooping out the basketball and giving it to the other guys. I don't know why I remember that.
Well, let's talk about the top 10 that I found online, and then we'll see what your top 10 are. Number 10, which I know is probably much further down your list, closer to the top, was Kobe Bryant. Number 9, Akeem Olajuwon.
Okay. I have him on mine too.
Number 8, Bill Russell. Okay. 7, Tim Duncan. Number 6, Irving Magic Johnson.
Okay.
Number 5, this gentleman, growing up, Larry Bird.
Oh, your uncle.
Yeah. Number 4, Shaquille O'Neal.
Wow, that's funny.
Number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay.
Now this is where it gets interesting. Number 2, Michael Jordan.
That's funny. This guy has 2 people in the same spot that I have mine.
And can you guess what the number 1 player was?
On theirs? Old school? Old school?
This is of all time.
Probably Jerry West.
LeBron James. was the number one spot.
Okay.
I found it hard there was no mention of Dr. J. There are some,
I'm trying to think. I think almost everybody on my list is not playing anymore. And this goes back to my GOAT football conversation. I don't think you could be on the top 10 GOAT conversation and still be playing. Right now, LeBron James, hands down, one of the best players in the league.
Okay.
But to be in a top 10 GOAT conversation, I think you have to have a catalog in the series, and I don't think you should be playing anymore.
I see your point.
So, my number 10, which was one of the reasons I fell in love with basketball because of my brother, was Wilt Chamberlain.
I was going to talk about Wilt, but he was known for so many other things.
Yeah. Number 9 was my Philly brother, my Philly boy, Allen Iverson.
Oh, wow, yeah.
He changed a lot. King of the crossover. He is one of the greatest players, has never won a ring, but has broken so many records.
Wow.
He's won conference championships.
But never.
No, because when they got to the finals, they met my Lakers and lost. Number 8 on my list is Hakeem Olajuwon. Number 7 will be Larry Bird.
Okay.
Number 6, which wasn't on that list, John Stockton.
Wow.
I thought he was an amazing player.
That's a name from the past.
He was a general on that court. Number 5, Julius Erving.
Dr. J.
Number 4, which was identical to that list as number 4, was the most dominant center ever. Big Daddy Cool, Shaq. Number 3 on my list, the logo himself, Jerry West. Number 2 was MJ to me.
So you agree with MJ being in the number 2 spot.
And now I'll explain why I have Kobe as my number 1.
Okay.
And Jordan as number 2. I grew up on the tail end of Jordan.
Whereas I grew up with Jordan.
I grew up with Kobe. And who's pretty much, baby Jordan, as they would call him when he first started. He hated that, by the way.
Yeah.
I grew up I watched Jordan's last game. I think where Jordan messed his career up is when he returned and didn't come back to the Bulls.
I agree.
After that, when he was a Wizard and he was a Bobcat, he
ruined his legacy.
He ruined the legacy. Kobe, 20 years, 1 team, 5 championships, many records.
Yeah, I never thought Jordan should have came back. I know why he did, but I thought, when he bowed out, that should have been it.
When he came back after that first retirement, and he was 45, and then he changed back to 23.
Yeah.
I was okay with that because he was still Jordan after taking the rust off. But when he came back and he wasn't Jordan, and it's crazy because I remember the one play that knocked Jordan down to number 2 to me. Jordan came back. He made the All-Star game as a Wizard. Wide open, nobody near him. He missed the dunk. He dunked it real hard, bounced straight up in the air.
Bounced it off, yep.
I'm like, he's not Jordan anymore. Kobe, at the end of his career, 20 years, he knew his legs didn't have it in him. So he didn't want to take it further and destroy his legacy. And that's why I have Kobe as my number 1 and Jordan as my number 2. Now, Jordan, phenomenal player. Phenomenal player. And funny thing is, my top 4 are all Lakers except 1.
Yeah, I mean, I like that you put Dr. J on your list.
Dr. J's a beast.
I got to see him when they used to come to F&M College for their practices.
He was tall.
I mean, you talk about one of the original greats. It was an honor to be able to see him play.
Yeah, I had to have him in my top because many people would argue AI shouldn't be up here, but I grew up watching that specific player. And a lot of these players, like Wilt Chamberlain, I know because my brother grew up on him and he instilled that in me. Larry Bird, I went back and watched. I didn't have Magic Johnson, Magic Johnson would have been my number 11 if we would have kept going.
Okay.
The battles between him and Larry Bird were just crazy, but the reason why I put Larry up there is because that was the Eminem syndrome.
Yeah.
He was the one white player that was as cool as the colored players playing the game. So, and then number 12 in my list would have been Carmelo Anthony.
Okay.
He still has a good legacy. They played, and Carmelo Anthony is the most decorated NBA player with Olympic gold medals. So, I can argue. You could probably argue other players in there like Tim Duncan, but you can Dirk Nowitzki up there, but
there's a lot of players that could be on that list that just, like you said, I mean, it's been around. We talked about this, how many years? 1946. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of players that have come and go over those many years that, to jam it into a top 10, even a top 5. That's why we had to go top 10 because there was just too many greats to narrow it down to 5 top players like we did in football. So that's his top 10. As you know, I'm not the expert. I follow it, but I'm not qualified enough to give a top 10 list, and I'll admit that.
What's your top 10? Put it in any one of the comments anywhere. Be interesting debate. Interesting.
Let us know.
You know what else is going on as we speak?
WrestleMania!
Well, as I saw last night, it was WrestleMania. It was downpour rain. I snuck in peeks here and there throughout the night, watching, see what's going on, see if anybody came in that was supposed to rumored to be come back in.
Yeah.
They said Ronda Rousey was on her way back in.
Well, she's supposed to be taking on Becky Lynch. Is that correct?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But they made history at WrestleMania, and now I don't really watch a lot of wrestling. I like the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And I watch WrestleMania.
I used to be really into it when Jimmy was younger. Mm-hmm. We used to go, to Penn State to see him. The Giant Center. We would go. I mean, they had some matches. They used to come to Catholic High.
I remember the one time I convinced my real father to go there. I saw Sid Justice and Shawn Michaels. And Shawn Michaels was my favorite back then. And I was ecstatic. And I took my son to go see his favorite wrestler was Roman Reigns.
Okay.
And we went to Hershey. And Jerry Lawler was literally right there. I was 2 rows back. And Roman Reigns was coming around getting ready to ride 5. I grabbed my son. I said, "Wrong!" And he landed on the front seat and got a high five from Roman Reigns. And his face
lit up.
Looked like he had the best Christmas present of all time. And it was the best thing in the world.
So, I grew up on, Hulk Hogan, The Ultimate Warrior, Randy Macho Man Savage, the Iron Sheik, all, even the cartoon.
Hulk Hogan and his wrestling pals, was it called?
Oh, I forget. It was a WWF. They were still the WWF then. They were not the WWE. And then, with the love of wrestling that my dad used to instill in us, Jeff and I tried to instill in Jimmy, which he ended up jumping right on. But he grew up more in the Attitude Era.
That was a good era.
D-Generation X. Even the battles between WWE and WCW, the Monday Night Wars. That was
hands down probably one of the best storylines that ever took place.
I mean, Sting coming back, and then Hulk Hogan going from what was the NWO?
Oh, when he turned heel, Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
But yeah, that was a lot of good stuff. A lot of great storylines.
Goldberg's 100 defeats and no losses.
Goldberg was the beast. He still, in my book, is in the top 3 all-time wrestlers.
Goldberg was the human superhero. That dude was a monster. He was on The Flash.
Was he really? No, I didn't know that.
CW's The Flash. They had, the villain was called the Thinker, and they had to, the Thinker was this brainiac guy who could think real fast, and he, in the storyline, the Thinker dies but puts his conscience in another body, in another metahuman, but everybody thinks Barry Allen killed him.
Okay.
So he goes to jail, and his prison guy is Bill Goldberg. Which is awesome. But some cool wrestling news was Chris Hemsworth is playing Hulk Hogan in his biopic.
Really?
That's why he's so diesel right now for Thor, because he has to bulk up for
Hulk Hogan.
Wow. But back to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You know, this is the very first time they have 2 black women in fighting for championships. I think one is a champion and one's fighting for a champion. But this is the first time they have 2 black females in WrestleMania.
That's amazing. What a statement. Not a statement, but what a...
It's just...
You know.
Wrestling...
Wrestling's really developed over the years, and they're very, Stephanie McMahon, she is phenomenal at the storylines that she produces. Her dad did a great job for years. I know he still has his hands very much involved, but Stephanie and Shane have really taken over the reins. And
Shane's my guy, yo. I love Shane. He got his behind whooped at WrestleMania. But what do you do when you fight that Bronson guy, whatever that big dude is?
Yeah.
Oh my God, jeez. But
no, they've really pushed the female evolution on wrestling.
Yeah, they had the very first female Royal Rumble a couple years back.
So they've really developed the storyline, and Stephanie McMahon has been a pioneer in leading this development.
She fought a few championships.
Yeah,
I love watching that when Mickie Jane and Trish Stratus came at it. I used to have the biggest crush on them too. They were so, I remember those days. Great days.
Well, I know there's a couple topics we probably didn't touch on tonight. I know we actually skipped over my news article because I thought paying a little bit more attention to the NBA talk and giving our listeners what they've been asking for was imperative to do tonight. So sorry, there's no news article this week, but I'll be back next week with another one.
Your dog agrees with you.
My dog always agrees.
Gotta love that dog.
I love my dog, but he barks at everything. So if you hear him in the background, I apologize. There's a storm going on right now.
He's our audience. That's okay.
It makes him crazy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, wonderful episode. Keep with the comments. We will communicate back through, obviously, the podcast. Within the next few weeks, our website will be up and running. We'll have a merch section in there, too, for people who have been asking. Until then, follow us on all social platforms that we have. TikTok, Instagram, the Facebook. Till then.
Thank you so much for listening. And check out Coffee and Comics every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
Take care, everybody. And if I don't talk to you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Salud.
Salud.
I want to thank everybody for listening to another episode of the Coffee Break Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on your favorite podcast streaming service. And of course, follow us on all social media platforms. And like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in to the shenanigans.
Thanks for tuning in to the Coffee Break Podcast.